Hi, my name is Sebastián Miramontes Soto, and this is my evidence 2. For this evidence, I chose to talk about Monterrey, Nuevo León. That is the city where I live. I've been living here my whole life, so I found interesting to research about this city. Now, to begin this evidence, I would like to give some basic information. To begin, this is a type of predominant climate. Basically, the most commons are dry and semi-dry. And about the total number of inhabitants, just in Monterrey, it's almost 1.1 million. And from the whole states, there are almost 5 million people. Now, talking about the mobility, about cars, in the whole state, there are almost 2.8 million cars. And it's estimated that 20% of these cars are located in Monterrey. So I could say that 560,000 cars are in Monterrey. It's equivalent to almost 0.5 cars per person. That is a big quantity. Now, talking about the education, I think education in the educational aspects, Monterrey is one of the better from the whole state. The average level is 11.47, that I think is the biggest or the highest average level from the state. And also from people among 3 and 17 years old, 82.2% attends to school is a big number, but it could be better. Now, talking about water sources, it's known that in Monterrey there is not enough water, but some of the sources are La Boca, Cerro Prieto, Cuchillo dams, and some others. Now, talking about solid waste management, almost 30,000 tons of household waste are recollected monthly, and 3,000 tons are recollected from the streets. It's a big quantity of waste. Now, talking about air pollution, Monterrey is in really bad aspects. It's reported to have up to 25 micrograms cubic meters, considering that average or the healthy average, it's 10 to 50. We are very over this average, so we are in a very bad case. Now, talking about the energy sources, 85% of the sources from the state come from gas. That's a bad number, and 15 comes from natural resources. The goal is to achieve 40% until 2030. It's a big difference, but we could try. Now, main economic activities, Monterrey is known because of construction, manufacturing, and all those things, industry mainly. And now the unemployment rate is 3.1%. It's a low rate, but it could be lower. And the PIB per capita is 39,000, almost 40,000. Now, the city's governance, the governor is Samuel Garcia, and the mayor from Monterrey is Luis Donaldo Colosio. And the main social issues, and as I already mentioned, is water deficiency and bad air quality. But also there are a lot of cars, and we need to improve security. Now, to begin this situation, I make these estimations about the quantity of CO2 produced per year in the whole state. And I got that is 5.3 times 10 to the 10th kilograms of CO2. It's a big quantity of CO2, to be honest, but there are higher states in Mexico and worldwide. So we could improve a lot, to be honest, but it's not the worst case. Now, I need to explain these traffic light models. The first two in red, CO2 emissions and air quality. As I already mentioned, we are really low. In this, we do not have very quality resources in air. So we need to improve basically. And now the yellow ones, environmental governance, waste management, and land use. The governance, I think, sometimes they try to make the change. They not try to support the cause, but I think they need to improve to being green. They are trying, but they could be better. Waste management, as I mentioned, we have a huge quantity of waste, but considering the population, I think it could be worse and it could be better. it's a middle point, and the same goes to land use. Now, in the green aspects, the green buildings, technological sources, and economic sources. I think Monterrey is one top tier from technological sources and economic sources. So I think if we are one of the best in those aspects, we could not be in other than green. And green buildings, I researched and I found that just in Monterrey, there are 6, 7 buildings. So I think it's a good quantity for green buildings. Now my proposal is divided in 4. The first one is to reduce prices for electric and hybrid cars. This is because these type of cars make a huge difference. They reduce up to 36 or 58% of the CO2 emissions. So it's a big difference. Now, the second thing is to improve renewable energies. As I mentioned, the goal is to reach 40%. But what do we need to do? We need to make the change in this aspect. Start using more renewable energies. Now, the third is to create awareness. I think it's the most important. We cannot make a change if people do not make a change in the way of thinking. So making awareness is very important, saying why it's important and what do you need to do. And the fourth aspect is the government to focus in all the natural resources, not just in water. I think water is very important, and Monterrey is really bad in water, but Monterrey is really bad in other natural resources, so we need to focus on all. And as a conclusion, I could say that, yeah, Monterrey and Nuevo León has big areas of opportunity, but they have a huge potential. They have a lot of resources, so we need to try to make the change. Also, I learned a lot about sustainability. I think it's a very interesting topic. And I think we need to all start making the change to receive the goal.